I want to start off with an apology. I'm sorry I won't be showing my face to you tonight. I was vaccinated yesterday and my face is quite white and pale. Looks a bit like sheetrock. I do apologize for that. I want to start off by thanking the amazing new subscribers here to my channel for putting the faith in me by subscribing. Thank you. I'm ever so grateful. I'm going to start off today with a short excerpt from my amazing book, which I'm in the middle of writing. And I'm going to hence follow on with a short lesson, which is what I like to share every week. Let's start with the bit in the book. It starts off as follows. Now, before I start with reading my book, I want to start off by telling you that I'm holding here at a point in my life. In other words, as I'm writing this part in the book, I'm holding here at a point in my life when I was in a situation where I was about to go and find out what the verdict was, what the judge decided as far as me having contact with my offsprings. Starts off as follows. I think that my resilience in this whole story reads for itself. I've seen much evil in my life, but I have never become like my tormentors. I always saw the reality for what it was. Perhaps not right away, but sooner or later I always came around and saw the dynamics at play. What people were prepared to show and what they tried so desperately to bury, disguise, conceal, cover, veil, and hide. I am no fool, although my kind heart often took me to places I shouldn't have been willing to go. I see the good in all people. I know that I also see the journeys of people. I know that people are on a journey, sometimes a lasting journey, and sometimes a journey which is more ephemeral. Whatever it may be, it is still a journey. We all are on a journey, whether we have learned to see it as such or we have yet to reach such learning. Next chapter. I spent the next few weeks laughing and really enjoying the Big Bang series. I watched on Netflix. Now, before I carry on reading the book, I want to point out that I'm reading out to you the weeks leading up to the point when I was going to be finding out about the verdict that the judge had delivered after I had been to court. So I'm waiting for the verdict. We waited for about 4 weeks or 5 weeks. And this is what I did all throughout those weeks. I spent the next few weeks laughing and really enjoying the Big Bang series I watched on Netflix. I think it is absolutely amazing how I got through those weeks. It's miraculous, come to think about it. Then I was notified by my lawyer and barrister that they want to have a meeting with me to discuss the results. The verdict. I took my bike. I rode my bike. It was my means of transportation in those days. On my way to the train station to catch a train, I noticed fallen trees. The winds were intense. I drove on with vigor and strength. The winds and even the fallen branches were not going to stop me. I am resilient and strong. I am not perturbed by the mere sight of fallen branches and growling winds. I said to myself. I got to the train station, parked my bike, and then joined Sarah in Liverpool. She came to support me. We waited for a while in the waiting room as my lawyer and barrister fixed their papers together and planned carefully how to deliver the news. All the time I was still hopeful, whilst I could see that Sarah was not as hopeful. As we waited, I shared with Sarah parts of the comedy I'd been watching on Netflix. We laughed together and got to really feel lighter, despite knowing that very soon I might have delivered to me some not so pleasant news. How I did this, How I managed to distract with humor and comedy, it's beyond me. It was a sheer miracle. I have no idea. Before I was called in, I told Sarah that I would appreciate if she would remain in the waiting room for an hour. I wanted to discuss the verdict first on my own with my lawyers. This took a lot of courage and strength because the people pleaser in me was like, "You can't do that. Sarah traveled for quite some time to be with you, to support you. That's not nice." I also realized in hindsight that my intuition led me to believe that I will receive unpleasant news, although I was still hopeful until last minute. I am amazed at how strong I was on that day. It's unbelievable. I was way ahead of my time. That's from a passage in my book. Now I want to follow on with an amazing insight I read in Tony Robbins' book about the way we use words and how words could affect us. He says as follows: "It is possible that by adapting someone else's habitual vocabulary, you can begin to adopt their emotional patterns as well." What is he implying with this? Tony Robbins is implying that the words we use, sometimes words we use which are borrowed from the people that we live with, or the people we interact with or work with, the words we use affect us. The emotions they express affect us. I remember as a child growing up, there was no such word as depressed. I never heard that word depressed until I was, I think, probably in my early 20s. I simply never heard that word. And once I heard of the word, I remember I had gone through phases and bouts of depression due to my gender dysphoria prior to transition. I remember it became a lot more intensified, and severe as a result. Because depressed puts you in a place where you feel pressed together. So rather than use words like depressed, why not use a word like I don't feel so happy? Notice the difference? It has a powerful impact on you. It has a powerful effect. It's not as intense. You don't feel pressed and squeezed together in a box. I'll give you another one. For instance, use a word like I feel so embarrassed. That tells the brain I need to feel this emotion of embarrassment for what I had done. Why not use a word like I feel rather not so comfortable, or I feel uncomfortable? By using that terminology, by including a different kind of vocabulary which is more pleasant and more positive, or rather less negative, you enhance your life. You create for yourself a paradigm of grace, of happiness, of strength, and also of feeling more content. That's what I wanted to share with you from this amazing book from Tony Robbins. I've been really including it in my language lately, and I've seen the changes. Tony Robbins speaks about a company which suggested their employers deliver this to the employees, and it really had an impact. And they saw the difference within 30 days, and they saw a turnover of $250,000, which is pretty impressive. I want to carry on and continue with an amazing insight I saw in the book. I'm reading from James Allan. I could show you his book. That's not a problem. Mind Master. In the book I'm reading about, an amazing insight. James says as follows: you are on a path of spirituality, and you're made aware that you could really change your life. Now you think to yourself, why did I get married? Why did I go into a relationship? Why not perhaps leave the relationship and go into solitude, and hence put myself in a situation, in a position where I could now fully change my life, fully enhance my spiritual paradigm with absolute peace and bliss. James Allan says that's not a good idea. He says, rather than change your surroundings, how about staying in your surroundings and utilize the time to gain vitality, to gain more patience, to gain more clarity, to gain more repose, to gain more happiness, and also a lot more resilience and time and patience and peaceful encounters with the people you meet every day. On a similar note, if a person wants to give up their job because they've reached spiritual peak, how about stay in your job and use the time to elevate yourself to a higher spiritual peak? And if challenges come up, don't see them as challenges, rather see them as part of greater growth, which will come out of it as a result. Powerful idea. It's a very powerful idea. James Allan also says that every trial and struggle you have in your life is there to help you grow. Trials and struggles only come up in order to help you grow. Don't see them as a disturbance. Don't see them as a niggling inconvenience. Rather see them as a very convenient and very worthwhile element and pinnacle on your spiritual growth journey. It's a powerful insight because, especially in our spiritual journeys, we tend to think, you know what? Let me just go into solitude, cut myself off from the whole world. And that's not what it's about. It's about living in the world, gaining resilience, courage, determination, abundance, happiness, serenity, good health, confidence, bliss, patience, and repose, congeniality with the people you interact with on a daily basis. That's the idea of it. That's my message tonight. I look forward to hearing your insights. What do you think about this topic of elevating yourself spiritually and being on your spiritual journey whilst not changing or altering your life, using every circumstance to help you grow and ascend? And what do you think about the concept of changing your vocabulary and how it affects your emotions and feelings and how it could actually impact the dreams and manifestations you hope to achieve? It's a very good idea. It's a very good insight I've gleaned in from Tony Robbins' book. I think it's amazing. We actually are capable of manifesting a new reality by changing our vocabulary. Isn't that fascinating? What do you think about it? I look forward to hearing your insights, your thoughts about it. Please leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. And thanks so much, Mike, for leaving your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below in the last few weeks, last few months, last few years, actually. I'm ever so grateful. And for all the other amazing commenters and your likes and the amazing new subscribers who have come on board, thanks so much. And once again, I want to apologize for not showing my face tonight. Thought it would be best if I didn't. Have a good night. I love you all. Take care. Have a good week. I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks so much.